Welcome to another episode of Behind the Reality Podcast, brought to you by Urbanpop Radio, where we discuss everything entertainment, politics, fashion, culture, and more. I'm your host for today, Host Tomiwa, and today's episode, we'll be discussing the insecurity affecting Nigeria as a country. I'm not here alone. Joining me to dive into this episode and break down things so we can all learn as we used to is my amiable guest, Mr. Musa Aliyu, a public affairs analyst, the director of media advocacy and technology center, MATEC, which is a civil society organization. And we can also refer to him as a civil society activist. So thank you so much for joining, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. So today's topic, insecurity in Nigeria, is not a matter of today, and it cannot be over-talked about.
Sure.
The recent administration has claimed that measures have been put in place, but we can't seem to see it, especially for the recent happenings in Kwara State. We have bandits attack, we have killings of pregnant women and people, we have kidnappings, and we also have the attack in Ipata leading to the relocation of the NYSC camp to Kwara Poly temporarily. So, sir, what do you think is the cause of most insecurity that we have affecting Nigeria as a country? And do you think it could be politics?
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks once again for having me. First of all, we cannot politicize life. In as much as we cannot put political price on human life, then we cannot holistically say that the insecurity happening across the country is politics. Rather, I can say it's more of human inefficiency that has been noted over time within the governance radar of Nigeria. When we say governance inefficiency and fallout and failures, it has to do with what governments at different levels are supposed to do, and of course, they fail to do it. And this definitely will accumulate into the enabling factors for the non-state actors to believe they can take hold of some ungoverned spaces. I'm taking clue from what has been happening in Kwara State. You discover that the present insecurity affecting areas like Ifalodo local governments, Edu local governments, and Patigi local governments, up to some areas in Kogi State, were partly due to the fact that there is an enabling environment of ungoverned spaces, avalanche plot of lands available. And one thing any kidnappers or any criminals or bandits will look for is, do they have enabling environment? That's a very large space of land spanning between Kwara to Kogi State is number one factor that enables those people to camp around here. They won't just camp here. Their operation must be carried out. So, having established that as their base, the next thing is how could they rev havoc? And revving havoc, they will have to look for the short targets, the soft targets. And these soft targets are the nearby villages, the poor powers, patient peoples in the villages. Before you know it, they will be overrunning communities and people will be forced to leave their ancestral home. We have seen that happening in Babala. We have seen that happening in Shabe. We have seen that happening presently even in Okeode. Not to talk of several other villages that have overrun in flanks of Kayama and Barotin. So this shows that these state actors are very intentional when it comes to this destruction they are bringing up. But one thing you and I should ask ourselves is, what is the government, from the state to the local government and the federal, what have they been doing? Number one thing, I believe they have a lot of things they fail to do. One of the things they fail to do is the fact that they believe it is only during political era that people in all these remote, hard-to-reach areas should have some idea of what government is because they need their vote. But when it comes to the real governance, in terms of social amenities, in terms of road networks, in terms of infrastructures, and even hospitals and schools, they are nowhere to be found. So this clearly is one of those things government has failed to do. Another thing government has failed to do is the fact that we have a lot of unregulated small weapons coming to the influx into the country because of what? Unregulated borders. Mind you, Kwara is a border state. with Benin Republic around Chikanda area. So if there is going to be any form of arms importation, Kwara is one of the targets. Are we really prepared for that? What do we put in place? What measures do we put in place to ensure that even if an individual wants to try that, they will be napped in the bud? No. And another thing we fail to do is the fact that for every insecurity we have, there must be early warning signs. Are we really taking cognizance of that? Let me be frank with you. All these kidnappings we've been witnessing and then relocation of NYC camp does not just happen today. It didn't start last year. It has been there. But we failed to take a clue. If I tell you it has been there, we have a security report. In the last 4 years, DSS have sounded that alarm that they discovered there are some kidnapper cells within some forest areas in Kwara North. Nobody took them serious. So right now, they are already at our doorsteps. Is it now that we are supposed to, when already those people have already gathered the population, when every harm is already in their custody. So how can we now ensure that we are ahead of them when it comes to that? So I can tell you that as it is now, we are just crawling while those guys are moving ahead. But unfortunately, the state government is honestly mismanaging the situation. Because you can't, how many people will you relocate? It started with NYC camp. Now, what about some other schools in Okere area? The School of Nursing is there. Several other infrastructures that have much more people. How many of them can we relocate? For how long are we going to relocate them? So, meaning that this is the time for government to face the reality. The criminals have turned this to the economic enterprise. And what governments should do, based on the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they are to protect lives and property, no matter what. That is the reason they are elected. Nobody elected them before we love them, because they look fine, no? People want them to be on top of games, on top of issues like this. So one thing they can do that can really help people of Kwara State is to see to the end of this criminality. Because already, Kwara is getting another name. People have started ascribing Kwaras to insecurity. They will be calling, when they hear you are from Kwara, so you mean you are from that place where they kill 15 people at a go? You know, where people fled their ancestral home. That means internally disclosed phenomenon is already with us. So how do we get all of this? It's for government to be on top of it with every security and the local intelligence by ensuring that that area that happens to harbor these people, no matter how big it is, I believe it cannot be bigger than the government. Government have all the resources. In the first instance, no any non-state actor has that capacity to hold a weapon. Even let me tell you, your knife in your kitchen, if it has become something else, then the government can take you charge for that. That this is posing threat. Not to talk of somebody holding AK-47. That is even said to even be superior to what our securities are holding. So this is the time for us to face reality. The security that are in the forefront of this fight, the vigilantes that are in front of it, how are they being encouraged? What kind of support is being given to them? It is beyond the relocation of everybody left, right, and center. Yes, in the meantime, you can do that, at least to secure lives and property. But for how long will you do that? You can't keep running away from problem. Problem will keep pursuing you. You've relocated to Kwara Poly. Who tells you that Kwara Poly, those people cannot come? There. Tell me, what guarantee do you have? If Okere is not secure, if Yara Shara is not secure, if Patigi is not secure, who tells you that Kwara Poly is secure? Who tells you that University of Ilorin over here is secure? It's information. It shares border with all these areas in Ifalo local government. Look at the geography. So this is more a world that governments, it's not a time of emotion. It's the time for reality. It has come to your doorstep because you failed to take action in the past. So what are you now going to do to take care of that? It's just situation.
So, sir, are you saying that the government are not trying enough? Because we have the issues of policemen being allegedly killed during an operation in Babala. So how then do you think that these measures can actually be put in place? Do you think they are not trying at all?
Well, honestly speaking, I cannot say they are not trying, but you know, your best is not good enough if it's not given the desired outcome. In as much as this insecurity still instill fears in the minds of citizens, then you are nowhere. You don't need to praise yourself for anything. In as much as you are talking of, even yesterday, a policeman was kidnapped in Patigi area. So tell me, if a policeman with all the Instagram of the law can easily be whisked away by those refracts bandits, tell me, what do you expect an average harmless civilians, bloody civilian for that matter, to do? How do you want them to cope? How do you want them to sleep with their two eyes closed? So that means definitely, we may not say they are not doing enough, but in as much as it is not translated, you see, doing enough is relative. We are talking of a situation whereby the response from the government actors can be stiff and instill fear in the mind of these bandits so that they can be forced to move out of the state, if not eliminate them. Are we doing that? That is the question we should ask ourselves. At the least level, by now we expect every local government in Kwara State to have a situation control room. A situation control room in terms of insecurity preparedness. Do we have? No. We expect every local government to have at least a drill, a technology. The only thing you can use to fight this bloody bandit is what? Is technology, superior air power. Do we have that? Have we been utilizing that? So tell me, how do you now want to be on top of them? Merely giving vigilante bikes, motorcycles cannot solve this problem. It's as if you are fighting. This at this age you are still trying to give me motorcycle. The motorcycle that it will be the first target by the bandits. Yeah. As soon as they catch those motorcycles, they burn them off. So tell me, what are you talking about? So the preparedness in terms of giving people motorcycle, if that is what you mean, is not enough.
So, sir, for a state like Kwara State, we have quite a number of local governments in Kwara State. How do you think these resources can reach those local? Because I remember, because I serve in Kwara State.
Where in Kwara?
Currently in Ilorin South. So there were quite a number of local governments that were aired during the COVID. We had Ekiti, we had Baritin, we had Kayama, we had quite a number of them that I did not even know existed. So if civilians like this cannot even know that this, we assume that the government should know. But how do you think this is also? Because from post office to Yipata, where the camp was, for about 4 hours journey.
Yes.
With, as you said, empty lands. There were a point where we started seeing odds. We were scared that, please, where are you taking us to? Now, how do you think these resources can reach those people?
Thank you very much. In as much as during election, ballot papers, ballot boxes reach those people, I see no reason why the resources, especially with the avalanche allocations going to the cover of local government now. See, we are not asking government to give everybody money. It's provision of enabling environment that can deter criminals from operating and jeopardizing lives and property. That is it. So all these things we ask them, how much do they buy high-tech equipment? How much do you need for trainings? You cannot keep following them bumper to bumper and let them give us bazooka. We give them, no. This is the time for us to be ahead of them. And the only thing you can use ahead of these people is technology. I keep saying something. At the latest level, when these people kidnap, you discover that they will collect ransom. This ransom, where are they going? So that means there is even this little technology on tracking of float of funds. Where are they going? These are the things we need. So in as much as we are talking of the responsibility, this is the time for the Nigerian government to wake up. If not, these non-state actors, they are ready to do anything. We hope it doesn't get to that level. But just like you said, for someone who is just coming to Kwara State, like you were posted to Ilorin South. Have you ever been to Fufu?
No.
You see, that is the headquarters of your local government. So as a core member, I wouldn't advise you to go down side now because it borders Ifelodo. It borders, it's just, Google it, Fufu to Okione, Fufu to Shagbe, Fufu to Babala. How many kilometers? You will be surprised. If you have a very good pachat, within 2 hours, 30 minutes you are there. Tell me, how can somebody ever, as we speak, people are still living there. People are still there. So what do you think those people will sleep with their two eyes closed? These are the situations. So the fund, to me, is not the fund that is the problem. There is the political will to manage that very little that we have. Meanwhile, it is not little. Because the Ilorin South now, if I tell you the allocation they collected in the last 3 months, you'll be surprised. This drone of a thing, even what are we talking about? If you don't pay for the basic things, then people will be made to forced to pay ransom in millions.
Yeah.
Is that normal? So indirectly, we cannot say there is no money. We are talking, government is all about people. It's all about managing those resources in the interest of people. So for our local government that has every ward captured, I see no reason why a budget of security cannot reach them. Meanwhile, we have been asking these questions. Where is the security votes of the state and local government? Where are they going? Is it all about photo ops here and there? It is about concrete actions, delivering results, and deterring criminals from operations in our state. Unfortunately, we've not seen that. It's quite unfortunate. I'm telling you, if you go close to the law enforcement people, if they tell you their mind, you'll be amazed. What they've been passing through. At times, ordinary fuel to fuel their car is a big problem. So do you expect them to use their little salary to buy fuel for the car and go and rescue people? Meanwhile, we keep saying it, those ungoverned spaces, what are we providing for these security people to even go and challenge those criminals in their hideout? Number one, in terms of logistics, do they have? No. Number two, in terms of equipment, do they have? No. Three, in terms of, even if should there be a casualty among the security personnel, what fallout strategy are we doing to ensure that their families and loved ones do not fall into despair and hardship? None. It starts from even basic thing. Go to the barracks around Kwara State today. Just nearby a division here. Look at the condition that our policemen are living. Go to Sobi Barrack there. Go to their quarters. Go and see how they are living. Also, away, don't go. It's too bad.
Thank you so much for sharing your opinion, sir. And we'll be taking us out of Kwara State now. I'm going to be talking about Abuja being the federal capital territory. We have Abuja-Kaduna Highway, which remains a hotspot for adoption. Recently, a friend of mine posted a friend that was coming back from her induction and she was kidnapped, and now they're asking for over 200 million for ransom. We also have the lady that was called to bar and was also kidnapped on that Abuja-Kaduna Highway. Quite a number of. We have the Arise TV news anchor, Miss Somto, that was assassinated in her house, allegedly. They claim that she jumped from recent investigation, claimed that she jumped from the house and all that. And then there was a comment from X that says, now kidnapping and robbery and killings in Abuja doesn't even sound new to them, Abuja-based people, because it's now a lifestyle. That is not a very good lifestyle. So if we are talking about these resources being in a state like Kwara State, the federal capital is also being affected by this situation. So can you say it's a state thing, or can you say it's just a general issue? Well,
honestly speaking, I haven't passed through some areas. I just traveled down to Abuja, I think last month or so. So I can, especially I applied the road, Kaduna, Abuja, Zaria road. So I can tell you that at least things have improved a little bit in that corridor. You move within 1 kilometer, you see a military checkpoint. They've even stationed them there permanently. Meaning that to a certain extent, sanity will have returned to that route. But another area which I cannot talk about is after Abuja, on your way moving to south, moving to Okene, from Okene to Auchi to Edo State to the rest of them. But quite unfortunately, I keep saying it, how many soldiers do we have in Nigeria? From the research carried out, we have just about 50,000 soldiers. Yes, armed soldiers. Now, these soldiers, divide them by 774 local government. How many? You are talking about maybe 83 soldiers per local government. Now, imagine, like Ilorin South, from Fufu to this place, how many distance? What's the distance? Okay, don't go there. Go to Ifelodo local government. If you move from Share, you are going to another part of Ifelodo. It may take you 8 hours to Gama here. Because the road, apart from the road is not good, the lands are just too big. So how do we use 85, 83 men to tackle that? Go to policemen. They are even the highest in the number. In the land, we have less than 400,000 policemen. If you divide by 774, that means you are getting to about 320 policemen per local government. And you are telling me that community will not be overrun. When these criminals, when they want to perpetuate their havoc, they may come in multiple number of like 200 at a go. Because there will always be 3 on a bike with a sophisticated weapon, AK-47 here and there. By the time you look at them very well, you discover that they will all overrun even the military and then the police post. Tell me, how do we get ahead of this? So just like I said, it is still the superior intelligence that only governments can procure that can solve this problem. And what is that? The use of air power, the use of high-tech drones. This drone the government have been using drone to take photo shoots now. They know if they want to use it for paparazzi, they know where to get drone. But to use this drone for security is the problem. Tell me, Google it. A drone that can be used for security, how much is it? This thing we are talking about is really, that is the reason if you say Nigeria is a giant of Africa, nobody would listen to you. Because as a giant of Africa, you are supposed to be on top of some things. We are talking of internal aggression. It's not even an external aggression yet. We are not talking of another country coming to attack Nigeria and take over governance. Within Nigeria, some riffraffs just see that they can have their ways around the lawlessness in the country and they are holding everybody to ransom. People can hardly travel the way they want now. Everybody will just be panicking. Those days, people were afraid of road traffic accident. Now, nobody is even talking about that. Everybody is talking about kidnapping. On the road, we are even talking in your house, don't safe. Are you sure you are safe? Just like the woman you mentioned, the journalist that was dead. You see, that is the kind of heights of recklessness, lawlessness that have characterized the whole country. And these people, they are not ready to stop. So I see no reason why we should do that. Number one thing government should do, our criminal of administration justice system must be reviewed. You don't try this in another country and go scot-free. In fact, it's just summary execution they should be giving these criminals. All this issue of taking them to court, you are just delaying the justice. And justice delay is justice denied. Let me ask you, for all those that have been arrested, tell me, how many of them have actually been successfully prosecuted? At least to ameliorate the pains of the survivors and their family? No. We've heard of different names. I don't need to mention names. The Evan is there, the Kabiru Sokotos, and the rest of them. Have they ever been successfully prosecuted? So that at least for the victim, they will know that somebody who has revved this havoc on us is not going scot-free. No.
Thank you so much for that, sir. There are quite a number of recent happenings in Nigeria. We have the banditry, the kidnaps in Northwest and North Central. We have the farmer-herd others clashes. We have terrorism in Northeast. We have separatist agitation in Southeast. We have urban crime and cultism. We have cross-border criminalization, as we have said also in this country. And we really don't know. There are these happenings keep happening every day, and they claim, measures have been put in place. In as much as even this, as you said, sir, you said that these resources could actually reach these places, because when it's time for political elections now, we see that these things the ballot paper gets to where it needs to be. But resources are not getting to where they need to be. And we really hope that the current administration would, put measures in place to actually come to the aid of Nigeria. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your contribution. We thank you for enlightening us on so many things, Mr. Musa Aliyu. And we really hope that Nigeria gets better soon and very soon. And measures are put in place for the safety of every life, because every life in Nigeria matters. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and also turn on your post notification bell so you get notified whenever we post a new video. And I remain Thought-provoking, your host, and see you on another video. Bye.